quickly circling back on the play with your eye, what would you say to the crowd of people that think a hit like that was intentional and maybe even warrants a suspension?
It wasn't intentional by any means. You just watched the play. It wasn't intentional.
Looks like the eye's better. Do you feel anything? Any pain issues?
It feels good. It looks okay too, so I'm glad.
Did you see what happened to Caitlin Clark? Just 90 seconds into the game and bam, she's got a black eye. Shannon Sharpe is losing it, calling out Dijonai Carrington for what he says was no accident. But here's the real kicker. The refs, they didn't even blow the whistle. What's going on in the WNBA? Picture this. Clark's on the court, eye swollen, looking like she just went 12 rounds in a boxing match. The crowd's going wild, but not in a good way. They're shocked, they're angry, and they can't believe what they're seeing. And the refs? It's like they're in another world, not even noticing what just happened.
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. We've seen the animus directed at Caitlin Clark all year. Ever be the biggest star in American sports was assaulted 2 minutes into the game on a dirty play with one of these women with these long fake fingernails that stabbed her in the eye. But damn it, in the first 2 minutes of this game, this Dijonai Carrington stabbed Caitlin Clark with her fingernails right in the eye.
Now, Shannon Sharpe isn't just upset, he's fuming. You know when Sharpe gets fired up, things are about to get real. He's not just calling out Carrington, he's demanding big changes in the WNBA. What kind of changes? Well, that's the million-dollar question. But trust me, you're gonna wanna stick around to find out. This isn't just about one hit. It could change the whole game. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Shannon Sharpe isn't just upset. He's on a mission to call out what he sees as a dangerous play in the WNBA. But what exactly set Sharpe off? He's not just mad, he's convinced this wasn't a simple accident. What did he see that made him so sure? And why does he think the ref's silence could spell disaster for the WNBA? Let's break it down. Sharpe didn't mince words when he called out Dijonai Carrington's hit on Caitlin Clark. He straight up said, "I don't care what nobody says, that was intentional."
With no whistle. Now there's nothing Indiana.
That's a bold claim, right? But Sharpe's not backing down. He's adamant that an eye poke like that doesn't just happen by chance. He's talking about player control, about knowing where your hands are on the court. But here's where it gets even more intense. Sharpe's not just mad at Carrington, he's fuming at the refs. Why? Because they didn't do anything. Can you believe it? One of the brightest stars in the WNBA gets poked in the eye, and the whistle stays silent. Sharpe's worried this could set a dangerous precedent. If the refs don't step up to protect players, who will? And you know what's really got Sharpe fired up? He's drawing comparisons to the NBA. He's asking the big questions. Would this fly if it was LeBron James getting poked in the eye? Sharpe doesn't think so. He's suggesting there's a double standard here, and he's not having it. He's demanding better protection for WNBA stars like Clark. But Sharpe's not just talking about this one incident. He's zooming out, looking at the bigger picture. He's saying Clark deserves better protection as one of the league's brightest stars. It's not just about one game or one player. It's about setting the standard for the entire WNBA. And get this, Sharpe's not letting anyone off the hook. He's saying players like Carrington need to have better control over their movements. Long nails? That's no excuse in Sharpe's book. He's calling for accountability from the players all the way up to the league officials. So what's Sharpe's big demand? He's saying, the NBA needs to do something about this.
The fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dijonai Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye. Dijonai has a history with Caitlin Clark, like many of these girls in the WNBA, but she's at the top of the list along with Kennedy Carter in Chicago and Angel Reese. That's not a natural act of you contest a shot and then all of a sudden your hand turns downwards and straight into the eye of the biggest star in the WNBA.
But what exactly? That's the million-dollar question. Is he calling for stricter rules, tougher penalties, better training for refs? Whatever it is, Sharpe's made it clear he won't rest until he sees some changes. While everyone's buzzing about Sharpe's call for change, the real drama was unfolding right on the court. Clark's game took a nosedive after that eye poke, and we're not talking about a small dip. We're talking superstar to struggler in the blink of an eye. Literally. Let's break down the numbers because they're gonna blow your mind. Clark, usually a sharpshooter, was suddenly shooting like she'd never seen a basketball before. We're talking 23.5% from the field. That's not just bad, that's catastrophic for a player of her caliber. And from three-point range, 2 for 11. Ouch. You know what Sharpe said about this? He hit the nail on the head. You can't expect someone to shoot at their best when they've been poked in the eye. And man, was he right? It's not just about the physical pain. It's about throwing off your whole game. Your rhythm, your focus, your confidence, all out the window with one poke. But here's where it gets really crazy. This wasn't just about Clark's personal stats. The whole game went off the rails. The final score, Sun 93, Fever 69. That's not just a loss, that's a blowout. And you've got to wonder, how much of that was because of what happened to Clark in those first 90 seconds? Think about it. Clark's not just any player. She's a game changer, a momentum setter. When she's off her game, the whole team feels it. And boy, did they feel it in this one.
And so I just assume that all the social justice, racial justice warrior people would be up in arms and be like, hey, we got to call balls and strikes here. Caitlin Clark has made this league relevant, and this deranged bigot, and I say that in all sincerity.
It's like watching a car with a flat tire try to win a race. It just ain't happening. But you know what's even crazier? This isn't just about one game or one player. This is about the future of the WNBA. Why? Because if star players like Clark can get taken out of their game this easily, with no consequences, what does that mean for the league? Imagine if this keeps happening. Imagine if every time a star player steps on the court, they've got to worry about getting poked or hit or pushed around. That's not basketball. That's a street fight with a ball, and that's not what fans want to see. So yeah, Sharpe's mad. The fans are mad. But more than that, they're worried. Because this isn't just about Clark or this one game, it's about what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. Do they want to be a league where the best players can shine? Or a league where the best players are looking over their shoulder every play? Everyone's talking about Clark and Carrington, but there's a bigger story here. What if this is the moment that decides the future of women's basketball? The next few weeks could change everything, for the players, the fans, and the entire sport. Shannon Sharpe's comments have lit a fire under the WNBA community, and it's not just about one hit or one game anymore. We're talking about a potential revolution in women's basketball. The incident with Caitlin Clark has opened up a can of worms, and now everyone's asking the tough questions. Think about it. What happens if star players start feeling unsafe on the court? We could see a whole new era of basketball where the best players are constantly looking over their shoulders instead of focusing on their game. That's not the WNBA we know and love, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about the players anymore. Fans are jumping into the fray, and they're not holding back. Social media is exploding with support for Clark and calls for the league to step up. It's like a tidal wave of anger and concern, and the WNBA can't ignore it. You know what's crazy? This could be the wake-up call the league needs. Sometimes it takes a big incident to spark real change, and this might be it. We're not just talking about a slap on the wrist for Carrington. We're talking about potentially game-changing solutions. Imagine this. Better training for refs so they can spot these dangerous plays before they happen. Or how about stricter penalties for players who cross the line? We could even see new rules put in place to protect star players. The possibilities are endless, and it's all because of what happened to Clark. But here's the million-dollar question. Will the WNBA actually do something about it? That's what everyone's waiting to see. This isn't just about making a statement or issuing a fine. This is about setting a new standard for player safety in women's basketball. And you know what? The fans have a big role to play in this too. Their voices matter. The more noise they make, the harder it is for the league to ignore the issue. We could be witnessing the birth of a safer, fairer WNBA, all because fans decided enough was enough. So what's next? Well, all eyes are on the WNBA now. Will they review the incident? Will they make changes to protect players like Clark? Or will they brush it off and hope everyone forgets? The next few weeks could be crucial for the future of the sport. So, here we are. One eye poke, and the whole WNBA's in an uproar. Shannon Sharpe's fired up, fans are going wild, and everyone's wondering, what's next for women's basketball? This isn't just about Caitlin Clark or Dijonai Carrington anymore. It's about the future of the game. Will the WNBA step up and make changes? Or will they sweep it under the rug? Here's the real kicker. Your voice matters in this. Yeah, you. The fans, the viewers, the ones who love this game. What do you think should happen? Should the league review this incident? Should there be new rules to protect players? Remember, the future of women's basketball isn't just in the hands of the players and refs. It's in yours too. Your voice could help make the game safer and better for everyone. So, what's it gonna be?